Welcome to my latest experiment. This is the big one, the one I've been waiting for all my life.
What is it?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Oh my God.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
And there is no one that does it better.
The Guy and Harley podcast, streaming all over your face.
Perhaps that was the most important part.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Pigville on the internet. Yeah. I drops every blue moon to separate myself from you kings of the YouTube. I am more you too. I am like Bono with the edge. In Mexico, fuck Donald and his pledge. Nice. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast. The 52nd episode, special anniversary edition.
Special 1 year anniversary where we've done absolutely no prep.
No prep. Haven't done anything. Doing it late. Really got caught with our pants down on this one.
Yeah, we did. So, well, my name's Harley Neville.
I know, I'm Guy Pigden.
And who was that talented lyricist?
That's Pusha T.
Pusha T.
I just thought it was funny because we're one of those.
Kings?
Yeah, we're one of those people on YouTube trying to do stuff on YouTube and thinking we're special.
I'd sooner be a YouTube king than fucking U2. I'm not a big fan of U2.
Well, I'm a fan of being the most successful rock band of all time.
Well, yeah, there is that.
And the millions upon millions of dollars they're making. So, there is a few upsides to it.
Yeah.
But you'd prefer to be on YouTube.
Yeah.
You prefer to be doing this stuff on YouTube.
So, we are a day late. Sorry, guys. This is not going to become a habit. Kind of. We're just really busy at the moment. We just got back from a wedding. We've been filming things.
Yep.
Guys running away to the airport immediately after this podcast almost.
Yep, pretty much.
In order to fly to Dunedin to shoot a music video.
Yep.
So, we're just flat out lately, guys.
Yep. We're busy. We're busy people. We're trying to do big things.
Trying to do too many things.
Trying to do big tanks. Big tanks.
So this is probably the earliest recording of a podcast we've ever done.
At 11:16 a.m. in the morning.
I once in a previous podcast said, let's never start doing them in the morning. And yet here I am.
Yeah.
It was either do it now or don't do it this week.
So we thought we'd better do it. Yeah, I'm heading away to Dunedin to shoot some more. We mentioned the music video a while ago. Now, sometimes as a filmmaker,
You fuck up.
you get it wrong. You don't always get it right. And my basic philosophy on filmmaking in general is plan something really ambitious and kind of risky and hope that you have the skills and the luck to pull it off. And that's kind of really how I approach most shoots. I kind of schedule more than should be done in the allotted time. I try to do like super ambitious things, like shoot a short film in a day when it should maybe take a week. And, to be honest, a lot of the time these things come off and we all pat ourselves on the back and go, fuck, good job, guys. But sometimes they don't. And you go, shit, we didn't really get that. And, with the music video, I had a good time and we did shoot some good stuff and we got some good footage and, there's a lot of footage that will be used, but we just didn't get enough. And, part of it was sort of really hurt by the weather. And then also, I as an Aucklander, I wasn't prepared. I was not prepared for how bad Dunedin weather is. I didn't, when you shoot in Auckland, it's kind of, even in winter, you're not really thinking, like everyone's going to get freezing cold.
People might actually die on set.
You're not thinking people are getting hypothermic and we have to leave this place after half a take. It just doesn't enter into your, the realms of possibility. And I guess I was quickly reminded when I shot a Dunedin of how miserable the zombie shoot was, and how bitingly cold it was. So, you know, I kind of battled the elements there and I lost. So now I'm going back down to battle them again.
To lose again.
Maybe, but this time I've built in some more contingencies. So I think that even if, you know, all of that works against us, as long as I've got the interior stuff that I'm going to be shooting, I think it'll be fine. Although you know, we had my director of photography on the zombie film doing the last shoot. This time it's just me. Now I'm not really a cameraman / director of photography. In fact, that's probably the last thing I am. I have shot like sequences for older. I am quite familiar with our camera, and I have a reasonable idea of how to, you know, frame a shot, but it's not really my strong point. So again, there's a few risks involved.
I think you'll be all right. I think you'll be fine. I think
that.
you know the camera well enough. You'll be fine. I'd more just be concerned about the weather / you know, other elements, other parts of the gang. You know, their enthusiasm, making sure everybody's on board for those long miserable shooting hours. Yeah. Because
that's the thing. I think that it's a huge shock to anyone's system to realize what filmmaking actually is. It's alarming because, you know, when you watch a movie up on the screen, you go, oh man, it looks like so much fun. They get to dress up as these characters in these costumes and they're running around essentially playing make-believe, but they get all these, you know, amazing craftsmen to kind of sell this illusion that they're in. And, you know, and it's glamorous and people want to know you and take your picture and all that stuff. And unfortunately, you know, none of it is true.
It's all lies. You stand around on set, especially in a no-budget situation. That might be true of a big-budget film, where you can go and sit in your trailer for a bit, in between takes. But on most films, or most films that we're involved with anyway, you spend many, many hours standing around in the cold, waiting around to do whatever it is you need to do.
Which, you know, you're doing for sort of 30-second bursts,
and it doesn't necessarily feel like you are even doing a good job necessarily. You can't tell, so you're out there and you're kind of like, some days you're like, yeah, this is going really well, but then other days you're like, is this going really well or is this really, really shit? And when you're worried that it's going shit, it's bad for morale, even though you really shouldn't judge until you see the edit. But you know, still.
And also, I think that, you know, it's just that idea of like, oh, could you just stand here for 5 minutes while we set the focus and light you? Of course, in big films, they have stand-ins to do that. But, you know, on smaller films, forget about it. You're standing there. So you're standing around in the same place, waiting for everyone to kind of set up around you so you can start acting.
And is this the first music video of this artiste?
Yeah, so this artist is you know, she is, you know, and she's done a great job, but she's completely new to the idea of, for instance, marks, hitting your mark. A mark is a spot you place on the ground where the focal point of the camera is. So when you stand there, you're in focus. We can see you.
So the actor has to be there.
And so, you know, you say you're good at hitting your marks, it means that you can go to these exact spots over and over again, and it means that the camera has you in focus and there's no issues with you being out of focus or out of frame or whatever. And all of these things are very difficult to really get your head around.
Especially when you're concentrating on a performance and you're not thinking about anything technical. But of course, a technical aspect is having to be on your mark, or having to be on multiple marks. First, walk over here, then do your bit, and then walk over here and do some other bit. But make sure you hit your mark both times.
I will say that I find it, as an actor, incredibly distracting to have a mark, because I'm always, the first thought is not where am I at with the scene. It's like looking down to hit my mark. And then start.
Well, I'm always worried that I look like I'm looking for my mark as well.
It is actually a real art to not do that, obviously, but also, it's just tricky. So, I empathize with people. It's really just hard work. But in the end, hopefully it will look like that thing that you imagined it would be. And that's really what it's about at the end of the day.
Now, this is a filmmaking podcast.
And it's a podcast about our lives.
So we just went to a wedding. the wedding of our very good friend Nick Larson. That was we came back yesterday, hungover as fuck.
Yeah.
And it was down in Napier. It was very beautiful. It was a very beautiful wedding. It was I'd say it was a dream wedding almost. You know, like the weather was perfect.
Yep.
The the location was amazing.
Yep.
The ceremony was lovely. The food was delicious. The booze was flowing freely.
Yep.
There was no restrictions on the booze. There was the kegs were still going at the end of the night when I went to bed at 4 a.m. It was all in all, it was a dream wedding. Very picturesque. Although I did have some concerns about the shambolic horde of Walking Dead that our friends have become.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen a lot of our friends for quite a few years.
No.
And it was really great to catch up with everybody. But time is a cruel mistress.
But they look terrible.
But some of them, honestly, look like they were a couple of years away from the grave.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, like that I was actually alarmed. I was scared. Because everyone had become older, balder, and fatter.
Yeah.
Like uniformly.
I did not feel so bad about being bald anymore because everybody's catching up.
And also you're like, yeah, see, this happened to me, so now I'm already that.
Yeah.
So, but for you guys, you just really, you're looking bad.
Yeah.
And that was the thing for me, because I like to think of ourselves as still that group of teenage kids going to like punk gigs and Seacliff parties and when we all get together, that's who we are and what we look like.
Yeah.
That's what exactly we look like. We still look like those guys. And then basically this was this rude awakening where I seen everyone, and it wasn't even like we're cool 20-year-olds that had,
20-somethings.
Yeah, 20, a couple of 20-somethings that had, that were all sort of catching up after, a long time.
Yeah.
This was a legitimate, like, congregation of, like, old, beat-up looking fat people.
Pretty much.
It was really quite like, it was like,
it looked middle-aged.
Are you exactly? And it was like, you're talking about the middle-age spread, you think in your 40s, you go, oh, everyone's going downhill. No, everyone is going way downhill, and we're at the 30-year mark.
Yeah, well, look, I'm going to the gym today. That's how scared I am.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I better hit the gym, man.
Well, it was just like
it's all downhill from here.
You couldn't sell that illusion anymore.
Yeah.
You just had to look around you and go, well, shit.
Yeah.
But I will say also, maybe...
What have we become?
Maybe, also we've been a little bit spoilt because we live in ageless Auckland and the Ponsonby area where everyone's vampires and no one ever really gets old or grows up, and everyone is obsessed with maintaining their looks.
Yeah.
And so, when we hang out with people of that age, normally they've just come from a fucking Pilates session and sipping on their super juice. And no carbs, 4-hour body or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if any of our mates are drinking super juice.
I don't know.
I
I don't think anyone's doing any type of exercise. So yeah, it was quite a big shock to the system. Great to see everyone, but just a horrible reminder of mortality at the same time.
Now, we're not judging, because you do have to assume, and this is equally frightening, that when I look into the eyes and waistlines of my friends, I see a reflection of myself.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's what made it, I'm talking just as much from an entirely selfish point of view. It's like, okay, so all my friends aren't looking like the cool young guys.
So
what does that make me? Not a cool young guy.
When a new person meets me, do they see what I'm seeing now?
Exactly. They do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're not impressed.
Yeah. So it was really great to catch up, but yeah, a horrible reminder of mortality.
So, the moral of the story is never grow old.
No, the moral of the story is go to the fucking gym and eat better.
The moral of the story is take care of yourself.
Yeah.
A little bit, Just look out for that. Now, I just want to give a quick shout out to Jeremy Howson.
Yep.
Long time listener.
Yep. G'day,
Hope
Jeremy.
I'm saying his last name correctly.
Halson, you can't say that wrong.
Yeah, well, that's off the top of my head, but he sent me, he's going to be sending us up some Pigville artwork.
Oh, yeah?
So there's a Pigville fan artwork.
Now, I've been posting pictures of said artwork in on the YouTube version of these podcasts.
Right.
It's made it in. So it'll be in this week's one as well. So if you do want to see all of interesting pictures of Guy and I and our exciting lives, make sure you watch the YouTube version of this podcast. Just search Pigville on YouTube and check it out. And it's a big show reel of interesting photos. But it's excellent audio.
He tweeted me a photo of some fan artwork that he did of me as Han Solo. I dressed up as Han Solo a while back for the Star Wars premiere, and he's basically taken off my fat body and put on Han Solo's body, but keep my head, so I legitimately look like a version of Han Solo, which is great. So I was incredibly excited to see that. It was like, all my dreams came true there. And also fan artwork, like
That's next level shit.
that's pretty cool. That's really, sometimes, you look at things and you go, well, we're not doing too great. But when you get something like that, it makes it all worthwhile.
He did one of me as well, where I am the cat in the hat,
I thought that was really good
but
too.
with my face.
I like that.
And a hairy butt.
I was impressed by that
The
one.
hairy buttitis. Which I still haven't got round to operating on.
Well, thank you, Jeremy. We really appreciate your support, and that's really awesome that you've taken the time to do that. And we will keep doing these podcasts and doing these funny things, and hope that you're entertained.
Now, after this wedding, it wrapped up about 4 a.m. Guy left when the bus left at about midnight. And I stayed on with the hardcores. We all got naked, pretty much. Took all our tops off. All these fat old men, fat hairy men,
Fat old men touching bellies and penises.
and we sang punk rock songs at the top of our lungs. Just like we did when we were 15. We just looked a lot less beautiful. It was a good time. But I tell you what, I didn't feel that great the next day.
You certainly didn't.
Now, it was all right. I was actually kind of surprised. I felt like the hangover never really kicked me as hard as I thought it would. But the problem was we had a 5-hour drive from Napier to Auckland. Now, 5 hours, that's a tough drive anytime. But on a stinking hot day, hungover as fuck when you went to bed at 4 a.m., it's pretty brutal. And we got about a quarter of the way, and I suddenly, guy was sitting in the back, and I had the window down in the front because I was feeling sick, and he was, because I get car sick anyway at the best of times. And the guy was like, do you think we could close that window? Thanks, it's messing up my hair. And then I was like, nope, and then did like a massive 4 massive power chucks out the window.
You vomited so much that it wasn't one, it had to be pulled over. We had to pull over for the mass vomiting.
So the first one was quite big, and it all sprayed down the side of the car, went under the door handle of the car. But I did clean that up, but that was lovely. Luckily, Guy had his window closed.
I know.
That would have been funny. But I was aware of that, because earlier on, Guy had closed his window, and I thought, that's good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, because I reckon I'm not going to make it. And then so we pulled over, and I did 3 more massive power chucks. But I'll tell you what, it was a hell of a relief. God, it felt good. It was like shooting a massive load. It was just such a relief. I felt about 1,000,000 times better after that.
Well, look, I did want to mention that you are the worst person to drive with. You are the worst.
That's so not
You are
even
the
true.
absolute worst. Okay, I just want to go through some of the things. So, first of all, I was sitting in the front, he was sitting in the back. Okay, because Harley gets queasy on long journeys, he had to sit in the front. Now, that is like putting an Ewok in the front seat and putting Chewbacca in the back seat with the fucking long ass legs.
Don't give me
I'm
shit.
folded up like an accordion in the back, and Harley's leaning out, just chilling. Okay, next thing, super annoying, has the window open full, so his window is open full, just blasting hot air in my face, just going. the whole way, like literally the whole journey. And I'm just sitting there going, like eating bugs. And he's like, he's like, don't know what the big problem is, bro. Just enjoying a bit of fresh air. And it's like, yes, you are enjoying fresh air because the wind is not blowing in your face, it's blowing in my face.
No, because I was in the back before that with your window open when you were in the front, and it was fine.
No,
it was nice.
Respectfully did not have my window full down because you would never do that to someone in the back. No. It's a golden car rule. You never have it full down. Like, you might wind it down for a little bit and then wind it back up. You would never have it just down.
Now, look, Guy,
so
firstly,
then we had to stop. And then you had to stop, and then you were like lying down, like all like just rolling about on the ground while we were. And I was like, we really should be making some time. I've got stuff to do at home.
No, we weren't waiting for me anyway. We were waiting because your girlfriend Shelley was driving with the handbrake on, and
we were like, "What is that noise?
What is that smell?
What is that burning rubber smell?" I've got no power. I've got no power going up these hills.
Had the handbrake on.
Had the handbrake on
for 50 kilometers.
Yeah, definitely had the handbrake on a little bit too long. And then the fact that you also had the window open, like, was so loud in the car that we couldn't listen to anything
podcast.
in the car. You are the worst.
Okay, now, firstly, the unfortunate deformity that is your spider legs does not give you lifetime shotgun. All right, so I'm sorry about that.
It just makes sense.
I'm just sorry about that. Secondly, I was very sick. That was why I had to sit in the front, and also I was in the back all the way on the way down, 5 hours all the way,
yeah.
And then I had to have the window open because if that window had not been open when that vomit came, because it came quite suddenly, it would have been in the car.
Yeah.
Now that would have been annoying.
Yeah.
So I was genuinely sick, and then when I was lying down on the ground, I was just waiting for you guys to sort out the car because I thought you guys were,
we had
fixing it up.
Pretty much sorted out the car within a minute.
Yeah, I was just lying there waiting.
I was like the handbrakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the no listening to anything.
And then the no listening. Again, I was like, I could put the window up, but I just don't know. I mean, it was stinking
5
hot.
hours!
It was boiling hot.
5 hours.
It was boiling hot.
5-hour drive. Nothing. So yeah, that was our adventure. But yeah, so if Harley ever like entices you to road trip, unless he's driving,
which normally I am,
say no. Also, I also forgot to mention that at the beginning of it, you're like, oh yeah, we just go down this side road, take this little shortcut here, and then, first you tried to get me to be the navigator.
Okay, firstly, Guy's sitting in the front seat. Okay, his job is, if you're sitting in the front seat, you are the navigator.
Look,
secondly, the reason why I started getting sick was because I was looking down at my fucking phone to do the bloody figure out where we're fucking going, because Guy was just up the front, just not being the navigator.
So,
and then Google Maps told me where to go. I wasn't making up the route. I've never been to Napier. I was like, yeah, go up here according to Google Maps. But at some point, Shelley turned off somehow and went somewhere different because, like, we had a very main route to follow, and then all of a sudden we weren't on it.
At some point, the navigator stopped navigating.
At some point, the navigator never fucking started navigating.
But you were like, this is the thing too, you're like, what? Yeah, you're in the front, you can do the navigating. I was literally on my laptop writing a shot list for the music video.
Yeah, but the world doesn't stop because you're making your wee movies, mate. The world doesn't stop.
Yeah, but like, you weren't doing anything in the back.
Yeah,
so
I was holding down my lunch is what I was doing.
You were just sitting doing absolutely zero. I had an important task that I needed to finish. Yeah, and you were like, hey, just shuttle that down and you do it because I want to sit here doing nothing.
This is a 5-hour journey, right? You got plenty of time to write your wee shot list up. That's all right. We're just starting off. We need to know where to go. You're the job. That's your job. So you get us started. Then once we're on the open road, that's when you can work on your shots.
It's anyone's job.
It didn't take 5 hours. No, I guarantee, dear listener, who navigates on a road trip? The passenger or the dude in the back?
Yeah, but let me ask you another question. If someone is doing nothing and someone is doing
Why
something.
is what you're doing more important than what anyone else in the car's doing? Like that.
But you're not doing anything.
I'm holding down my lunch.
That's the
I'm
thing.
holding down
Like,
my lunch.
If you were like, hey, look, I've got to make these really important calls and I've got a whole bunch of things that are due, this deadline is coming up.
I would be sitting in the back where that sort of behaviour belongs.
So, sweet as, I'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But if you're just sitting there, then you can do the navigating.
No. Navigator sits in the front. That's just the way it is. There are rules, man. There are rules. And the listeners will let us know in the comments below.
Listeners, let us know in the comments.
Let us know. Go Facebook.com/GuyandHarley. Hit like and just let us know. Comment below.
So what else? What else been happening?
What have we got? I took down our music video, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The Western-themed rap video in which I rap... I'm frothing at the mouth while I'm fucking your baby. You catching rabies and so on.
Yeah.
I took it down temporarily because I'm a little bit concerned because this rap ad is coming out soon, and I just really, I just don't really want the producers or whoever to Google Harley Neville rap before this ad comes out, you know, and then find that. I also don't really want normal just people to happen to see the ad, like the ad, but decide to do some investigating, find me doing other raps, and then release and then share this Good Bad Ugly music video, and suddenly that blows up. Like, hey, check out this. The A to Z, the rap guy from Optus is up here rapping about fucking babies. Like, so I wanted to just hold that off a little bit. So I put that bad boy on private for a little while. It'll be back though. It'll be back.
Well, that was probably a smart move.
Yeah.
Speaking of, people kind of getting narked on. Now, there's a film festival called Tropfest, which is kind of like one of the bigger film festivals for short films here in New Zealand and Australia, although I don't think it happened in Australia due to financial problems this year or last year. Who cares? The whole point is there's a bunch of short films, you get nominated, it's a big deal. Now, one of those films called Be Home Soon by Emma Schranz has just been disqualified as one of the finalists because there was a YouTube link to it on Facebook. And basically, but,
was it a private video, like a link to a private...
Here's where the plot
unlisted.
thickens.
Yeah.
So she didn't put it up. This was a private link to the first version of the film, which was shared by the film companies that she has ties with. So she didn't even do it, and it wasn't the final version. And really, I think that's bullshit. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds like a load of crap, especially if it's not even the final edit of the film. And also, if it's like was it an unlisted... So, because, you can share a link on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
You can share a video to an unlisted video. So what that means is you can't search it. You could search for the name, it would never show up.
Yeah.
But if you happen to have the link, then you can click on that link and it will take you to the video and you can still watch it. So it's handy for...
I believe that's what it was. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, that's kind of bullshit. It's unlisted, not even the final edit, and not shared by the filmmaker.
And also, who was the little turd head the little bitter turd head that narked on her to the festival people and went, oh, hang on a second, check out this, look at this, guys, look, it's been on Facebook, it's disqualified.
Well, it would have been one of the other filmmakers.
Yeah, I know.
One of the other little rat filmmakers.
But that's what I'm saying, it's like, who do that to your brother? Come on.
No, it's not your brother, it's the competition.
It is the competition, but it's not the competition. Like, I don't think that I guess if that was the best film, but I just think it's pretty unlikely that that's going to give you a better chance or not, because they put a different film in there anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't increase your likelihood percentage wise.
Yeah.
It's only the idea that if that was the best film and yours was the second best film, then I guess you would be the winner. I just think it's a little bit a little bit exactly. A little bit underhanded, and it's a short film festival, cool, amazing. I think they've got quite a good first prize, but no point losing your fucking head over. But I guess my issue is, let's forget with these fucking antiquated fucking rules to your fucking festival, where, because apparently it has to premiere at that festival or it can't be in competition. And it's like, look, do you understand how many festivals there are out there? Like, unless you're like,
you can debut at one bloody festival and then you can't get into any more.
And it's like, hold on, guys, hold on. We've got to wait 6 months to hopefully be nominated as a finalist in this festival, because otherwise they won't accept it and we won't get that opportunity. So,
and if they don't accept it,
then we just missed out
6
on
months.
half a year's worth of other festivals where the film could be playing and potentially getting you interest as a filmmaker.
Or just releasing it on YouTube if it doesn't make it into any festivals. Yeah. You're still delayed the release of your film for 6 months to wait to hear no from these dicks.
So come on, Tropfest, just reconsider your whole structure there. I mean, yeah, sure, you're a great festival, but there's many great festivals out there, and it's a bit unfair to be hanging the noose around someone's neck just for yours. So that's my thoughts on that.
Well, good. Well, I guarantee we're never getting nominated in that festival.
Well, to be honest, I don't think we could, because I think that we would. I don't certainly intend to just submit my short film to that festival because of exactly what we've just discussed. It just would not.
But if the timing worked, if by the time the film was ready, if Tropfest was just about to go,
like if Tropfest was like, but the thing is, the selection process, is quite lengthy. I think
Right.
all of these deadlines are a couple of months in advance, so. Yeah, I don't think it would be ideal, so I'm not too worried about that one. But maybe someone there at Tropfest will be listening and taking notes, and he's like, these filmmakers, these guys that are hard at it, they got a good point. I never really looked at it like that.
He might say that, or he or she might say that if this is a big and grown person, mentally sort of mature, but that's not really how humans work, like they won't hear that. They'll hear that I referred to them as dicks before, and they'll hear that bit. They'll hear these little pissant fucking wannabe filmmakers are bagging on our festival, bagging on what we do. I think we know a little bit better than you do, Guy and Harley, and that's what they'll take away from it, the negative stuff, and that's what they'll remember. And so we're fucked. We're never getting into that festival. We'll just add them on the list of people that don't want to work with us.
Put them on the list. Doesn't matter. The list of people that want to work with us is growing.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
The list of people that don't want to work with us, the brown list.
The brown list
is known.
I just finished, talking about filmmaking. I've just finished the first sort of very rough cut of Older. So rough it doesn't have 20 minutes of it in the first 20 minutes is missing.
So it's not.
It's not even
finished rough cut.
It's not. It's
98% of a film.
Yeah, it's the assembly of 3/4 of a film.
Is there somewhere I can watch that other than your computer or not?
Yeah, it's online. I'll put it online.
Put it up.
Yeah,
right, sweet.
Yes.
Oh, just make sure it's a private link.
It is a private.
Let it get out on Facebook.
Can't let anyone
affiliated never get into any festival.
I'll never get into festivals, and someone will narc on me.
I'll fucking narc on
you. So yes, it is a password protected link.
Yeah.
So that's the difference there. She should have password protected her link.
Yeah.
But you can't do that on YouTube.
Really?
No, you
might be right.
Yeah,
got to Vimeo it.
Yeah, they don't have that option. So
there you go. Use a
Vimeo, baby.
Trick for young players.
Yeah.
Use Vimeo if you want to password protect.
And I was feeling pretty good about it. I've been feeling good about the scenes. I've been watching them. And then I put it all together, and it came to 1 hour and 54 minutes, which would be fine if I didn't have 20 more minutes of footage to edit.
And when he says 20 minutes, it's often longer.
So what you're looking at is a rough cut of a film that's 2.5 hours long, which is a long time.
Yeah, well, when you consider you've got to cut out 45 minutes or something like that,
You start getting quite depressed.
Well, yeah, because it's like there's 45 minutes worth of that's a lot of work that was done ultimately for nothing if it doesn't make it in. But also just it's very difficult, obviously, to go through and decide how the fuck am I going to cut out 45 minutes? You got to take this out, but then this doesn't make sense, or you can take this out, but then this other bit just is nowhere near as good because you didn't have that little setup earlier, or how do you cut this whole character out?
How do you cut this whole character of Harley's character out?
Cut Harley's character out.
But there's the thing too, is like, everything is a bit of a compromise, but also you kind of lose, what you end up stripping away basically is character layers.
Yeah.
And that's what makes films interesting, is character layers. So you're kind of at this thing, you're like, well, look, I obviously don't want people to be bored, but I also want,
I want people to give a shit about the characters.
Yeah, and also, because and I think what we had a problem with too with the zombie film is you end up whittling people down to cliches because you're just getting these core, key, basic beats, which is the simplistic view of someone, the simplistic view of a character, because that's all you have time for, and then they are like kind of one-dimensional. And then
not to bag the characters on your film.
But then in the reviews you read one-dimensional characters. You're like, yeah, well, what do you want? A 2.5 hour film or one-dimensional characters? And so it is very difficult. And also, but I guess I was more concerned because when we put together the first cut of the zombie film, it was just all the scenes edited together. We hadn't cut anything out, and we'd just kind of edited the scenes as written. Now, with Older, I haven't been doing that at all. So none of these scenes are as written. All of the scenes were 3 times longer as written. And basically, I've already pared them down to quite tight, constructs. And so now to look at that and go, well, now what do you cut out is a worry. But I'm sure that, when I give it out to a bunch of people, they will have many harsh critiques to
helpful edit notes
and observations that will cut me down to size and humble me to the point that I will be able to do that.
We have got a couple of projects coming out quite soon, actually, finally, because we got Not Wanking, Guy and Harley Show Not Wanking, a 3-minute skit that's probably only going to have sort of 4 passes on the edit.
In our quest to write the perfect masturbation joke.
To create the perfect 3-minute masturbation monologue, we've gone through several entities, several versions of this joke, and we're just working it down, just getting the formula just right. So this one's called Not Wanking, and it's should be out quite soon. So we think there's probably only going to be one more pass on the edit, and then there'll be a bit of finessing, I guess, some color grading or something, I guess, and then it'll be out. And I'm excited to be putting something out, but I've got some reservations.
Well, why? Because you think it's going to be bad, or because you're rolling around in your underwear?
Well, both. Like, one is that I don't mind rolling around in my underwear for a good wank joke. I don't mind that. But that's the thing, is it's got to be good, right? Because, I feel like I'm past the stage in my acting career where I can just be doing these really, really, really shit things.
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, I'm in some commercials. I've got a serious role in Older.
You're a lead in a feature
and I survived
film.
a zombie holocaust, available internationally.
Yeah.
I'm getting auditions for quite cool roles lately.
Yep.
And so if I put out just a really awkward, not at all funny, just bad, degrading video where I'm rolling around in my undies, and I'm all hairy and just
disgusting,
just embarrassing myself, and it's not funny, well, then it's not worth it, whereas it used to be back in the day, it used to be like, fuck it, put anything out, who gives a shit, like nobody gives a fuck,
disgusting hairy man,
exactly. And so yeah, I have some reservations about that. It's like it needs to be funny. Yeah. Or it's not worth it. And then the other thing as well is, I feel like I've been building up this fake Facebook persona, I'm doing this whole fake it till you make it on Facebook thing. The cool guy puts out, he's real funny, does funny things,
jokes,
hilarious, look, you can see his bum in this photo, and then And then if I put out this, obviously Facebook's going to be the first place I put it. I'm feeling some Facebook pressure, man. I'm feeling the pressures of Facebook. I need to have some
fame,
the good stuff. I've got to keep putting out good shit. Otherwise, people will be like, "Oh, that was disgusting and not funny." And what is this guy? He's 32 years old and he's still making just wank jokes. What's the matter with this guy?
What's wrong with him?
So I have that. But then on top of that, I am also just concerned as to whether or not
have they not
funny.
been listening to the podcast for the last... you're sharing the podcast every single week.
Yeah, and they're not listening. It gets like 1 or 2 likes at best. Sometimes it gets none. Sometimes it literally gets none. There's 2,500 people on my Facebook, and I share it on the Guy and Harley podcast page, which has about 400 likes. I also share it on the Pigville Productions page, which has just over 2,000 likes, and I share it on my personal page. So all in all, we're talking 3,000 to 4,000 people and 1 to 2 likes. It's pretty bad.
Yeah,
it's not great.
No.
So you people that are listening, thank you so much.
And hurry up and like it on Facebook.
Yeah, like it.
This is the thing.
And share it.
You might think, like, when you see it pop up on Facebook, you might think, like, look, I've liked, of these shows, I've liked 20 of these 50. But I can't just keep liking it or it will seem weird because it's only me pressing like. No, don't think that way. Keep liking it.
Keep liking.
Like it forever. Because one day, that like will create the algorithm that will make it viewable on someone else's page that sees it and also likes it, and suddenly we have a new listener.
Yeah, exactly. That is how it works as well with Facebook. You know, you release something. If it gets no likes, it just disappears. If you release it and it gets a whole bunch of likes relative to the percentage of friends that you have. So if you have 100 friends and a high percentage of... So what they do is, say you had 100 friends. You'll release it and it's visible to, say, 10% of them, so 10 people. Now, if a high percentage of that 10% click like or interact with it in some way, then it gets opened out into, say, 20% of your total friends. And if more of them interact well with it, then it'll get expanded out more. So the more people that like it initially, the more people are going to see it ultimately. And if you just don't do it, it just disappears. You know, that's the way Facebook buries it. So your likes, very important, people.
Yeah.
But I'm also just genuinely, you know, I mean, I wrote this skit. Guy reckons he wrote it. Well, I've got to send him the original draft.
Oh, please do.
So I wrote the script in 2012, right, and sent it through to Guy, and he sent back his adjustments and notes, and
you know what you're going to send me? You're going to send me a treatment. Not even in a script format.
No, it's not in script format, but it's got all the dialogue.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. Have you found it yet?
Oh, it's easy. It's in my email. It's real easy. And so I know about it because I looked it up the other day because I was like, I don't really like all this stuff that I took out some of what Guy had done when I did the final version of it and changed some things around and took back to the original one that I wrote. And I know that because I looked up the email. I was like, no, I've got to find that original one that I sent him. So I guarantee it's right there. But anyway, so it was written a long time ago. It's been read a whole bunch of times. Then there's the acting. Then there's the editing. And so it's hard to tell if it's funny anymore, basically.
But that's like everything. So you just got to put it out, see what happens.
Well, that's what's going to happen.
Well, we should probably wrap it up pretty soon. Because I have to upload this before I leave in a very short amount of time. But I will say just a couple of things before leaving. One, they're rebooting the Labyrinth, or perhaps doing a sequel, or they're doing something with the Labyrinth. Labyrinth, the beloved sort of kids movie that I talked about, that David Bowie with his tight pants and big balls was the star of, as Jareth the Goblin King, a whimsical, magical tale from the Jim Henson Company, full of these amazing puppets, and completely holds up today. There is no reason to do any rebooting or anything with the Labyrinth. David Bowie's corpse is not even cold. Come on, guys. Come on. So apparently they've just sold it to some company that they're going to work in conjunction with it, and it's going to be made. But it's like, sometimes it's good just to encourage kids to watch something old. You don't have to go, oh, well, it didn't come out in the last, year, so not interested. Like, why not simply direct people to a re-release of The Labyrinth? why not re-release it with some special editions and some Blu-rays and stuff? You go, here you go, kids. You want to see an awesome, amazing kind of fairy tale? Here you go. And they go, oh, it's cool. And they wouldn't even know it came out in 1980, whatever. But no, instead we got to do a reboot, rebrand / try and make some money.
Yep, CGI. That'll be jam-packed full of CGI.
And that's the thing too, is like, you go, well, it's puppets. It's like, yeah, puppets kind of don't really age in the same way because that's just the style. The style is puppets, kind of Jim Henson puppets. That's the style. So you don't need to add any CG or anything to that because that's not what it is. So to me, it just seems completely fucking inappropriate. And there's very few remakes, reboots, whatevers that have really actually made that much money financially for whoever did it, and B, were good or better than the original. So knowing that going in, why do we keep doing it?
Well, it's money. They still make money. It's just a business.
It is money, but I guess the thing is that if you did a sort of a tally of all these ones that have come out, I'm pretty sure the ledger would be sort of even to maybe in the negative in terms of money making.
No,
now,
because you've got to look at things like Transformers and stuff like that as well.
Well, that's a sequel.
Well, it's also a reboot. Like the first Transformers that came out was a reboot of the 80s.
The cartoon.
Of the
That's true.
80s cartoon, you know?
I'll give you Transformers.
Well, there's a whole bunch of them like
G.I.
that
Joe.
as well, yeah.
Yeah. But they weren't
Ninja Turtles and all that
but
shit.
those weren't, like, Ninja Turtles was a successful rebooting. But also that makes sense because, you can do some interesting stuff with those turtles now, whereas some guys in some like some latex turtle suits that can barely move, talk, or do anything is actually, that's something that kind of makes sense to update. But there's no Ninja Turtles in the Labyrinth.
No.
So yeah, I'm boycotting that.
Well, good. So am I. I'm boycotting it by default. I basically boycott the movies by default.
You boycott watching films by default.
Just in case there's a bad one.
And I guess the last thing that we should just quickly talk about, Chris Rock hosting the Oscars, and there was this hashtag Oscars so white on Twitter because basically everything that was nominated was with a white director and white people and white everything. And, there was this big backlash. And they said that he should boycott the Oscars because he's a black person, but black person are not being represented in film and at the Oscars, and and the Oscars are sort of racist / sexist / minoritist. To that I say, yes, they are, because it's all middle-aged white people voting. So what do you expect? 2, no point complaining about it really, just in the sense that unless you're going to change the whole voting system, and because what happens at the Oscars is basically not the best film wins most of the time, and not the best group of films are nominated, and everything to do with the Oscars is not really a representative of the best of anything. So who cares? I think you got to diminish the importance of the Oscars by sort of not paying attention, covering and watching. And so other sort of better structured, awards will become more popular and more prestigious, and then the Oscars will sort of not be important if they are racist and sexist and all that stuff.
Makes sense. Are they done? Have we had the Oscars?
No, so they're coming up.
They're coming up. So
and apparently Chris Rock is going to say something about the fact that there's no... black representation, and I think there was just an issue.
Is it possible that there was just no good films put out?
Well,
with
the thing
black
is,
actors in them and stuff.
That yes, that is possible. Just purely in a percentage wise, again, as a law of averages in a way. In that, if there's 100 films with white people in them and 10 films with black people in them, well, then they're underrepresented to begin with, to have the same opportunity to be as successful. Having said that, the fact is there was some good films, and I think people were upset because I think Straight Outta Compton and Creed and stuff were overlooked, which were really solid films. And I agree that they were both really good films, but I also would say that, the films, film, this wasn't a great year for films anyway, really. So, I don't know. There you go. Oscars so white.
Well, we'll be following this.
Well,
on
we'll
the
do
Harley podcast.
We'll have to do another special Oscars one.
Special.
Yeah. So look forward to that. But we've got to go. We've got to do this. We've got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us for a whole year. Thank you for sticking in. Shout out to Chris Simons, who just mentioned that he listens to us on his long plane rides.
Yep.
We're here for you, mate, whenever you need.
Yep. We better Liam Hegarty.
Oh, Liam Hegarty, who we saw, and his band, Laura Palmer. Check them out.
We were going to do an interview with him if we recorded live at the wedding, but we just didn't get around to recording live at the wedding.
I forgot to bring my laptop.
That
as
was
well.
the issue, yeah. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of them out there. Old James Graves and Jason Coombs.
Yeah.
And you guys know who you are.
Naomi, my friend over in London.
She's my friend on Facebook now too.
Oh, yeah.
Added me.
Right.
Giggity.
So thank you all. Thank you, everyone. Please keep supporting Nick. Everybody. Really appreciate it. And we really enjoyed doing this. And we hope to continue doing it for another year. With as many hilarious stories as this show.
We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Guy and Harley podcast, proudly brought to you by Pigville Productions.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.